Your debit card is handing a criminal direct access to the account where your CPP lands every single month. Not a credit limit, not a temporary hold. The real cash. The money your OAS deposited this week. The funds your GIS topped up yesterday. Gone before you wake up. Gone before your bank calls. Gone before any investigation even starts. And here is what makes this worse than you think. The people who find this out the hard way all say the exact same thing afterward. My bank has fraud coverage. I thought I was protected. Your bank does have fraud coverage. What your bank does not have is a rule that puts the money back into your account while they investigate. The investigation starts first. Your account stays empty throughout it, and while that investigation takes up to 10 business days, 2 full calendar weeks, your rent does not pause. Your pharmacy does not pause. Your hydro does not pause. Every automatic payment you have set up keeps trying to pull from an account a criminal already emptied. Stay with me, because before this video ends, I am going to show you exactly how this happens, why Canadian seniors are specifically targeted more than any other group, and the one phone call, a single call, that permanently separates your CPP and OAS from any merchant terminal a criminal could ever compromise. And I'm going to show you something your bank will never put in a pamphlet, something the branch manager who has been friendly with you for 15 years has a direct financial incentive never to bring up. Subscribe right now and hit the bell. Canadian banking fraud rules are changing in 2026, and your bank will not explain the gaps in your protection until after you have already experienced them. Subscribe now. Now let me show you exactly what is happening. Hook number 2, and this is the number that changes everything. Under the Canadian Code of Practice for consumer debit card services, your bank may take up to 10 business days to temporarily restore funds lost to debit card fraud. 10 business days. That is 2 full calendar weeks. That is the window during which your CPP has been drained, your OAS is gone, your GIS top-up has disappeared, and your automatic payments are still going out on schedule. Hydro, insurance, phone, prescriptions, every one of them hitting an empty account. Every declined payment potentially triggering a non-sufficient funds fee from your bank and a returned payment charge from the creditor. On a combined CPP and OAS deposit of $1,800 DOS, a realistic monthly income for many Canadian seniors, 10 business days of account drain can trigger between 5 and 8 separate declined payments. At $25 to $45 in fees per declined transaction, you could be facing over $300 in additional charges on top of the fraud itself. Not because of anything you did wrong, because your pension income and your daily spending card were connected to the same account. Tell me in the comments right now, does your CPP or OAS deposit into the same account you use your debit card from for daily spending? Yes or no? Drop your province below, because what this community shares shapes exactly what we cover next. Hook number 3. Here is what your bank will never say out loud, and why. Every time you swipe your debit card, your bank earns a fee from the merchant. Not a large fee, but multiplied across millions of transactions every day, it is one of the most significant revenue streams a Canadian financial institution has. The branch manager who has known you for 15 years has zero financial incentive to sit you down and explain that the card in your wallet, the one you use every day at the grocery store, the gas station, the pharmacy, is the payment method with the weakest consumer protections and the greatest risk of draining the account where your pension arrives. That conversation costs the bank revenue, so it never happens, not because anyone at the branch dislikes you, because their incentive structure points in the opposite direction. Here is the conversation they will never start, but you are hearing it right now. Here is exactly how debit card fraud happens to Canadian seniors, and why the way most people use their pension account makes it significantly worse than it needs to be. The most common method is skimming. A criminal attaches a small device to a gas pump terminal, an ATM card slot, or a point-of-sale machine at a restaurant or grocery store. The device is designed to look like part of the machine. Most people never notice it. When you insert or tap your debit card, the device captures your card number and PIN. The criminal does not use that information immediately. They wait, sometimes days, sometimes weeks, and then execute the fraudulent transactions at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday when you are asleep and your account balance is at its highest. The timing is not accidental. Criminals who skim debit cards know exactly when Canadian government pension deposits arrive. The last Tuesday of every month, the date that CPP, OAS, and GIS all deposit, is the highest value day in a Canadian senior's bank account. It is also the day most commonly targeted for fraudulent withdrawals, because that is when the money is there, and if your debit card is linked directly to the account where your pension arrives, the criminal who captured your card number 3 weeks ago at a gas pump has a direct line into the largest deposit of your month the moment it lands. A retired teacher in New Brunswick, 71 years old, 33 years of contributions, never missed a payment, had her card data captured at a gas station she visited on a Wednesday afternoon. She had no idea. She paid at the pump the same way she had for years. 3 weeks later, on the morning of the 28th vice, the day after her CPP and OAS deposited, 4 transactions totaling $1,380 processed at stores in another province while she was asleep. She woke up to $412 in her account and a declined payment notification from her hydro provider. She called her bank immediately. They were polite. They opened an investigation. They told her it could take up to 10 business days. Her prescription payment declined on day 3. Her phone bill declined on day 7. By the time her account was restored on day 11, she had spent more than a week explaining to every creditor why her automatic payments had failed. For a fraud she had no part in causing and no way to have prevented once once her card data was captured. The fraud was not the hardest part. Everything that fell apart around it, because her pension account was directly connected to a merchant terminal, was the hardest part. Nobody warned her. Not her bank, not the gas station, not Service Canada, and she is not alone. Here is the protection that people inside Canadian financial planning circles have understood for years while still handing debit cards to everyone else. It is called account separation, and it requires one phone call to set up permanently. Keep one account as your main account. This is where your CPP deposits, where your OAS arrives, where your GIS tops up, where your automatic bills, rent, insurance, phone, utilities pull from. This account should never be connected to a debit card that touches a merchant terminal. No gas pumps, no grocery store point of sale, no restaurant payment machines, no online retailers. The fewer places this account number exists in the world, the fewer opportunities a criminal has to reach it. Then open a second account, a spending account, with its own separate debit card, and a small balance you top up as needed from your main account. Put $200 in it at the start of the week. Use that card for everyday purchases. If a skimmer captures that card number, the criminal can only reach whatever is in the spending account, $200 or less, not your full pension deposit, not the account your rent comes from, not the money you need for prescriptions. Even better than a low-balance spending account is using a credit card for all daily purchases, not to carry a balance, not to pay interest, but to use the card, pay it off in full by the due date, and keep your main account number away from every merchant terminal in Canada. Under federal consumer protection rules, a fraudulent credit card charge never leaves your account at all. It sits as a disputed entry. You owe nothing while the bank investigates. The money your CPP deposited last Tuesday is never touched. Now here is the part most coverage of this issue completely misses, and this one involves the voluntary policy your bank is counting on you to believe is stronger than it actually is. Your bank's zero-liability debit card policy sounds like full protection. Here's what it actually is: a voluntary internal guideline. Not legislation passed by Parliament, not protected under the Bank Act the way certain credit card protections are. Your bank can narrow it, attach conditions to it, or change it entirely whenever fraud losses start affecting their bottom line. Under the Canadian Code of Practice for Consumer Debit Card Services, which is the actual federal framework governing debit card fraud, your liability may be limited when you report fraud promptly, but limited is not zero. And throughout the investigation, your account stays exactly as empty as the criminal left it. The code says your bank may restore your funds, not that it must. Not within a specific, legally enforceable time frame. May at their discretion, through their process. Most Canadian seniors who have had debit card fraud resolved quickly believe their bank acted out of legal obligation. In most cases, their bank acted out of customer service policy, a policy that exists until the day the bank decides it is too expensive to continue in its current form. You had no idea these two things were different. Most people find out only when a branch manager explains that the resolution timeline their neighbor experienced may not apply to their specific situation. Did you know that your bank's zero-liability debit card policy is a voluntary internal guideline, not a federal law, and that it can be changed or narrowed by your bank at any time without your consent? Drop your answer below right now. I want to know how many people watching this had no idea their debit protection was voluntary rather than legally guaranteed. 3 steps you can complete this week. Step 1. Call your bank today and ask them one specific question. Do I have a second account I can open specifically as a spending account with its own debit card and a low balance that I maintain separately from the account where my CPP and OAS deposit? Most Canadian banks offer this at no additional monthly fee. The call takes 10 minutes. The separation it creates permanently removes your pension account from the risk of merchant terminal fraud. Step 2. Call your bank today and ask them to activate real-time transaction alerts on every account you hold, not a daily summary. One notification the instant your card is used anywhere for any amount. This single change means that if a criminal uses your card data at 3 a.m., you know about it at 3 a.m., not when you check your balance the following morning after 3 more fraudulent transactions have already processed. Also ask them to lower your daily debit spending limit to $200. This does not prevent you from making a larger purchase with a quick authorization call. It means a criminal with your card number cannot drain your account overnight. Step 3. Starting today, never swipe a debit card at a gas pump. Walk inside and pay the cashier or use a credit card at the pump. Gas pump skimmers account for a significant share of all debit card fraud reported to Canadian financial crime units every year. The pumps sit unattended for hours. Modern skimmer devices fit inside the pump housing where no visual check will ever find them. Using a credit card at the pump costs you nothing extra and permanently eliminates the riskiest swipe location for your pension account. One more thing before we close. The CRA will never call you demanding immediate payment by phone. Service Canada will never ask you to confirm your direct deposit banking details through an unsolicited call. If anyone contacts you claiming your CPP or OAS is at risk unless you provide your banking information immediately, hang up. Report the call to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre at 1-888-495-8501. Real pension payments are managed through my Service Canada account. They are not protected or confirmed through phone calls with strangers. What surprised you most in this video? Was it the 10 business day investigation window during which your account stays empty? The fact that your bank's zero liability policy is voluntary rather than law? Or the account separation method that one phone call sets up permanently and that your bank has no financial incentive to ever suggest? Drop your answer and your province in the comments right now. I read every single one. And if this video helped you, hit the like button right now. 1 second. It is the only way this reaches the next Canadian senior whose pension account is connected to a debit card that touched a gas pump terminal 3 weeks ago and who has no idea what is already coming. The retired teacher in New Brunswick got her money back. It took 11 days. It cost her more stress than anyone who worked 33 years and paid into the system every paycheck should ever have to carry. If someone had told her, before that Wednesday at the gas pump, that one phone call to her bank could permanently separate her pension account from any merchant terminal in Canada, she would have made that call the same afternoon. Her bank never made that call. They had no financial reason to. You now know. Make the call this week, before the 28th of next month, before the criminal who captured a card number 3 weeks ago decides tonight is the night. I am Henry Jaden. Take care of yourself.